we are under 18 minutes away from liftoff. Again, it's an instantaneous liftoff at it's going to be 12:22 and 45 seconds here on the West Coast, 3:22 and 45 seconds over on the East Coast there in Florida. Just a reminder, it's going to be about a 9-minute ride up to orbit for the Falcon 9 and Bob and Doug on board Dragon. It'll be a 2-stage flight, so we'll see the first stage fly until we hear MECO, or main engine cutoff, about 2.5 minutes into flight. After that, the second stage will take over and continue to power them the rest of the way. Second engine cutoff comes in just under 9 minutes at about 8 minutes and 44 seconds. Following that second stage completing its job, it'll continue to coast for about 3 minutes. It'll do a slight attitude adjustment and null out any rate, so make sure it's not in any kind of a spin before they do separation. So
Tom,
the Dragon
what time is liftoff, big boy? We got T-minus 16 minutes, bro.
Bob and Doug will be flying
16 minutes, my friend.
It's about a 19-hour ride if we launch today on time. So that means Bob and Doug will get on orbit. They'll have a number of burns, or those firings of those Draco thrusters that they'll do over
Stage 2 LOX load started.
They must be bricking it in
The liquid
there.
oxygen load has now started on stage 2. But again, they're going to be doing a series of burns on the way uphill towards the International Space Station 5, spread out over the first 16 hours or so of their flight until they get much closer and it's time for that approach and docking.
I'm intrigued to see what... Are you going to come down with them? Yeah, you know it, bro. Like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
All right, now that we're under 16 minutes away, we have a special guest joining us. I'm going to toss it over to Jesse.
Toss it over.
We are T-minus 15 minutes and 45 seconds from liftoff of our second demonstration mission today, and we have the honor of having SpaceX's President and COO, Gwen Shotwell, join us.
COO.
Thanks, Gwen, for coming out and taking a few minutes to chat with us.
Thanks, Jesse.
We know you've been on
social
console.
distancing.
How's the countdown been going so far in there?
Countdown is clean today, just like it was Wednesday. We did clear the weather
£1.99.
sooner,
Oh, thank you,
than
Tom,
we did
for the
on
£1.99 super
And
chat.
the only thing we're watching right now
fucking
is
scary
downrange weather and lightning at the
Mate,
staging
I'd be...
location.
You think, right, they're just sat up there. They're just sat in a tiny little pod up there.
Awesome, great, very exciting.
All of this stuff
now
comes
I'm gonna
back
throw
down
it
by
back
itself.
to 2012, because you were on console for Dragon when it was first making its way to the space station. How does that experience compare to today?
Stage 2 LOX is on the DPUs
So I was nervous then. I stopped getting nervous for launches. Today I'm nervous again. Super nervous.
I'd be nervous.
Stomach and throat.
Understandable.
No, it's a fantastic day today. I'm really excited. The team is pulled together. It's such a professional operation. And when I say team, by the way, I mean SpaceX and NASA. These folks have been working incredibly hard and have done a fantastic
Can you imagine
job.
being an astronaut just sat in that thing just waiting for that?
And we know that
14
you have
minutes.
to get back inside of mission control, but is there anything that you wanted to say before liftoff to NASA and SpaceX?
Well, I want to thank NASA, of course, for their generosity and their help with getting to this place. I want to thank all the SpaceXers who have come together to make this
When all
moment.
stuff falls off in the air, etc., when does it land?
And
I think they've got a 15 to 19-hour trip
We thank Elon for hiring you as well.
to the International Space Station.
Thank you
But I
so
think
much for joining us. We'll let you get back
the
to
actual
mission
rocket,
control.
you see these big booster things here, they actually
good
come
luck
back
with
and land
launch
themselves on a
Thanks,
pod,
Jesse, and
which is pretty
Godspeed,
cool.
Bob and Doug.
Well, we are so excited. We are just a few minutes away
There's only
from
2 of them as
countdown.
well.
So we are going to turn it over to Dan and John for the final minutes in terminal count. Take it away, John.
T-minus 13 minutes, 30 seconds, continuing to count down. We're continuing to load fuel onto the first stage. That should finish up in just about 6 minutes. Fuel is completely loaded on the second stage. That's closed out. And we are continuing to load liquid oxygen on both the first and second stage. The liquid oxygen load beginning on the second stage just about 3.5 minutes ago. We are also loading cryogenic helium into the storage vessels on the first and second stage, getting in the last little bits of helium when we keep it cryogenic, cold and liquefied,
Mate,
that
can you
gives
imagine being
us,
out there?
just like we do with liquid oxygen, the maximum amount.
Doesn't
into
look
the
real,
storage
mate. Look at
volume
their suits.
so
Some
that
sort.
we can get the most
Bro, that
performance out
is
of
their
the
suits,
vehicle.
bro. It's ridiculous. Of course, it'd
Right
be
now, we are in a
SpaceX,
fairly quiet
good old
state on the
Elon
vehicle.
Musk,
Ground
that
pumps continuing to put the propellant in
bring
to
up
first and
that
second stages.
bring up them
Next
suits.
significant issue callouts that we're going to hear will probably be inside the T-minus 10 minutes when they talk to the crew. We'll listen
Oh, the
for
extension
that.
arm's gone.
But at the moment, everything continuing to look good.
The extension arm has
12
gone.
minutes and 20 seconds.
I remember when I went to NASA in America to go and watch a rocket launch.
Now,
They cancelled it like 5 minutes before it was
only
due to
a little
launch.
over 12 minutes away.
It
Just a
sucked.
reminder for everybody, it's about a 9-minute ride uphill. We'll have some dueling boxes going on as the first stage is going to be coming home while the second stage is carrying Bob and Doug into orbit. But obviously, we'll be keeping an eye on our astronauts the whole way uphill. Some of the calls that you'll be hearing, as there will be what we call performance calls over the Dragon to ground the entire way uphill. And you'll just hear some of the SpaceX engineers calling out trajectories and booster.
Man, can you imagine? There's two of them together.
Nominal. I know that's
They're
one of
so
John's
like
favorite
that.
words. That's one of mine
They're
too.
just keeping themselves
Hear
exercise,
nominal
bro.
as much as possible
I'd be
on the
pooing
way
myself
uphill.
in that situation.
You
I'd
might
be
also
like,
hear some number and letter combinations, and those correspond to the different.
I'm not sure if these
abort
guys have
zones
ever
that
been
Bob
into
and
space
Doug are in
before.
during their flight uphill. There's 1A and 1B, which signify that they're on the first stage. Those carry them from there in the Cape all the way up to about the very top of North Carolina, and then we'll have 2A.
Gonna go and see it if I
2B,
can from
which is
work.
Echo, and that will be on the second
Yo,
stage.
how you doing,
That
bro?
goes from North
How you doing,
Carolina
guys?
all the way up to about the tip of Newfoundland.
Looking forward to
in the
this
northern
rocket launch.
Atlantic, and then there is a zone of the northern Atlantic.
What's that
we're
guy doing
going
with
to
his hand?
avoid. And so you should hear the call out be something similar to forward to Shannon.
How have you
That
guys all
just
been?
refers to Shannon, Ireland, which they'll be going off the coast of Ireland at the later stages of the second stage if they have.
As this goes past at
So
10, 11
prepping
p.m.
you now for some of those calls. You're hopefully going to
it
hear
should
that
be
word
just after
nominal a whole lot
Southampton.
on the way uphill.
Sweet.
10.5 minutes. Things are pretty quiet, as John.
You were
and I
today,
said,
Harry?
It'll pick up right at about 10 minutes. We'll wait for the crew
Why don't you become an
to
astronaut?
confirm that their
Too scary, mate.
displays are in
Too
order.
scary.
The crew is already strapped in and reported that they are go for launch, and we'll continue to watch the fuel gauges tick up on the Falcon 9 vehicle until fueling cuts off at just about 2 minutes prior to launch.
Dragon and SpaceX confirmed displays are configured for launch.
SpaceX Dragon displays are configured for launch.
Copy.
Oh.
Bob, Doug, on
I
behalf
get
of the
nervous
entire
because
team, it's been a
it's
huge honor
like
to help you get ready for
it
today's
kind of feels a bit
mission.
like that
Know that we're with
KSI
you.
Logan Paul
Have
fight.
an amazing flight and enjoy those views of our beautiful planet.
Thanks, Jay. It is absolutely our honor to be part of this huge effort to get the United States back in the launch business.
I think this is the first time they've been back to space since 2011.
Thank you.
Copy all. Thanks for those words.
Oh mate, you've got to be pulling. Think about the stresses that are
SpaceX,
put on your
of course,
body in
again,
that time.
voice that's going to be talking to Bob and Doug throughout their mission from right here in Hawthorne. Just offering
weather's
a few
looking
quick
quite
words
good at the
to
moment.
Confirm their crew displays are configured for launch.
Bruh.
Coming up on 9 minutes and counting.
We've gotten through T-minus 10 minute with the crew discussions. Activity is now going to switch over to Falcon 9. Our next major event comes at T-minus 7 minutes. We begin what we call engine chill. Pre-valves will open. Those currently separate propellants on the first stage from getting down to the Merlin engines. We'll open the
Merlin
pre-valves. That'll
engines.
allow fuel liquid oxygen to flow to the top of the pumps. And more
Merlin's a British
importantly,
company, I think.
when we open the valves, that'll allow us to begin chilling the 9 Merlin 1D turbo pumps on the first stage
9.
engine. It'll take a few minutes to get them cold enough to where they would then be ready to pass the large amounts of liquid oxygen through the pumps and into the main thrust chambers when we get to engine ignition at T-minus 2 seconds. We don't want to try to run highly chilled liquid oxygen through a warm pump. You would flash that into gas, and running gas through a high-speed pump is not a good thing. So right now, we are waiting for T-minus 7 minutes. That'll start the engine chill. Shortly
One
after
sec,
that,
boys.
we
I'm
will
just getting
also
some
get
chocolate
the fuel
buttons.
shutdown. Listening to the SpaceX launch director in the background there. As I mentioned, at T-minus 7 minutes as we start the chill, we will also get into the final topping off of stage 1 fuel,
Cheers, boys.
and then the fuel load will complete.
I'd be nervous, man. Look at them, mate. They look a bit edgy. Look at the guy over here. I'd be edgy. This guy looks quite calm and collected. He kind of looks like he's pooing himself, which, to be honest, I do not blame him one bit. I'd be in a worrying.
Stage 1 and Stage 2 engine chill has started.
We've heard the call out. Stage 1 engine chill has started. That's gone up to the crew so that they've got situational awareness. As I mentioned, the pre-valves are open. And now we are topping off first stage fuel, getting ready to finish the fuel load. Liquid oxygen load on first and second
Engine
stage
hydraulic side pressure.
will continue until the last 3 to 2 minutes of the countdown.
Oh dear, boys. Can you imagine where you go? 10,
RP
9,
load complete, coming up in about
7,
6 minutes. Again,
6.
RP1 is just that densified kerosene.
How much money have I made off Twitch so far? Not much at all.
To power Bob and Doug to orbit
About, I've
today.
got 3 subscribers, so about $7.50.
And Stage 1 fuel is closed out.
6 minutes, boys. Cuban.
Right
You
on
guys are
time.
watching this as well.
That call out indicates that the fuel loading on the first stage is complete. Draining back
Can't believe
lines
you just
now, so
compared this to a
first
YouTube
stage
boxing
and
match.
Second stage fuel are complete. Liquid oxygen loading is continuing on both stages. You can see on the view on the left side of the monitor the condensation, the cold gas wrapped around the stages as the tank skins are chilled by the densified
Oh wait, you can't
liquid
see.
oxygen, picking up the humidity
Falcon
from
9
the
is in
Florida
top
air.
line.
Webcam, I'm afraid.
It looks like at this moment we're a little more than 90% full on the oxidizer on the first stage, ticking up towards that 80% mark on the second stage. We'll be counting down all the
There
way
we go,
to
just move
about
that out of the
2
way
or
so
3
you can-
minutes, as John I just said, until everything is loaded
Falcon
in
9
Falcon
heaters
9,
closing out.
and then we will be go for launch.
Alright boys, let's do this. Hopefully it's a good one. Hopefully we get some good
Dragon
stuff
has
in.
transition to configure for terminal count. Vehicle tanks pressing for strong back retract.
It's gonna be interesting, boys. Yo, look at the Yo, wouldn't you be bricking it in that situation?
Pressurizing the
Imagine
Falcon
being
9
an
tanks. We're gonna
astronaut
open
sat in the top of
clamp
that.
arm around the second stage and begin to retract the strong back. We'll move back about 2 degrees.
Oh
That'll get
boys.
us to the liftoff position. At liftoff, the strong back will then
Imagine what the
recline
centre is.
about
Bro, you're
45
scared.
degrees.
Definitely should have got toilet before. I'm pretty sure they must poo themselves.
Stage 2 RP1 bleed.
Surely they gotta be pooing
Launch
themselves.
director called out the strong back retract has started. On the left, you'll see it go back just a couple of degrees.
Stage 1 RP1 bleed.
I don't know whether these guys have ever been to space before.
We are just 4 minutes away from liftoff. Again, at this moment, Bob and Doug are really just laser focused on those displays. They have insight directly into Dragon and the Falcon 9. They're able to see where their fuel loading is at, how everything's progressing down with the count.
AFTS final setup started.
Oh no, he's flown before. He's flown
3.5 minutes.
I think they're both very
And the
experienced
strong back is now
astronauts.
reclining away from the Falcon 9.
Oh boys, there we go. Woo. Surely you gotta be pulling yourself at this point in time.
MVAC igniter purges.
Or bring in the back of the thing.
Pogo bleed.
The amount of technology that's in that is unreal.
Dragon has transitioned to terminal count.
Bob and Doug, I think. Bob and Doug.
Stage 1, locks load, close out.
T minus 2 minutes.
Okay, we're at T minus 2 minutes, 42 seconds. Stage 1 LOX load is closed out. Stage 2 will continue to load for about another half a minute or so. Once we get the completion of Stage 2 LOX loading, we have to vent down the line, so you'll see another large white cloud coming off of the strongback. That'll be normal. That'll happen around
transitioning to
T minus 1 minute and 40 seconds. We're going on internal power now.
Here we go, boys.
Just a few seconds away from the Stage 2 LOX load being complete. It's been almost 9 years since we've been in this position. A lot of work done by thousands of people to get to this point. All our eyes focused on 2 now.
What the hell? Why is there loads of water? Has it started raining? Madness.
Stage 2 LOX load is closed out. Propellant fills are complete.
Surely it hasn't started raining. What? Christian, how you doing, bro?
Vital.
T minus 1 minute 40.
Stage 2 LOX load complete. All fuel, all oxidizer on Falcon 9. 1 minute 34 seconds to go till launch.
Yo, as an astronaut, you must be pooing yourself at this. Well, go on, bro. How you doing, Lewis? How you doing? T minus 1 minute 20. You must be pooing yourself at this point in time, boys. Hold on. This is one of the most incredible things humans have ever done. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Everyone is. T minus 1 minute, boys.
Falcon 9 is in startup. Dragon is in countdown. FTS is armed for launch.
Under a minute now, the FTS, the flight termination system, has been armed.
Dragon, SpaceX, go for launch.
Oh, go for launch. Here we go, boys.
SpaceX Dragon, we're go for launch. Let's light this candle.
Let's light this candle. Oh, boys, get the
T minus 30 seconds.
Oh, here we go, boys. Let's get nervous now. Shivers down your spine. 20, 19. Yeah, I want to see this big.
Tanks pressing for flight.
T minus 15 seconds.
Holy shit! Look at the bottom of it. Here we go. You ready?
10, 9,
8, 7, 6. Good luck, boys.
5, 4.
Cross your fingers.
3,
2,
1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff of the Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon.
Jesus
Go
Christ,
NASA.
man.
Go SpaceX. Godspeed, Bob and Doug.
That the amount of brute force power in
So
that is
rises the new
unreal.
era of American space flight.
200
The
kilometers.
ambitions
Look
of
at
a new
that.
generation continuing the
Look at
dream.
the speed on
20
that.
seconds into flight, stage 1 propulsion is
Mate, that's just slightly quicker than a Bugatti Chiron now.
T plus 30 seconds into this historic mission. Flying crew on board Dragon and Falcon 9, and look at them go.
Jesus Christ, boys.
Falcon power telemetry nominal.
We're 4 kilometers in the sky already.
Throttle down.
We're throttling down to get ready for the period of maximum dynamic pressure. We're in the throttle bucket.
Oh my god, can you imagine as an astronaut
Folks
how
say
you'd be
all
feeling at
systems
that
are
point?
go.
This is the largest amount of aerodynamic stress exerted on the vehicle. Jesus
We've
Christ.
exceeded Mach 1 on the Falcon 9.
Speed of sound.
M1D throttle up.
Stage 2.
We're throttling back up to full power as we're through
Bravo.
max Q.
Copy, 1 Bravo.
Jesus.
We heard that 1 Bravo call out. That's just the second abort zone that they're in. They'll continue to be on this
Oh my
until
god.
the first stage has done its
But
job.
they're just sat in there like it's nothing,
Second
look.
At this point, Bob and Doug pulling about 2.3
Oh.
Gs, 2.3 times the Earth's gravity, already moving at over 1,500
Jesus
miles per hour.
1,500.
We've heard the call out for MVAC engine chill. That's getting the MVAC engine ready to light.
Look
That'll
at
come
the
at about
state of that thing,
2:44
bro.
into flight. Right now, everything continuing to look good. Next major event coming up is going to be the triple We'll have main engine cutoff of the 9 first stage engines, stage separation, and then ignition of the second stage engine.
Mate, shut up, you twat. I'm trying to watch
astronauts
this.
into orbit.
Stupid dog.
Coming up in about 20 seconds.
M1D throttle down.
Jesus Christ, look at them. That's ridiculous.
You heard we're throttling down the Merlin engines on the first stage.
It's going to eject soon, I think, surely. Hey, Martin, how you doing, bro?
And we have Miko.
Main engine go.
Falcon
Look at that, let's see you later. Gone, bro. And then it shoots itself back into space.
MVAC ignition.
Hey, look at the pilot, look at the astronauts sitting there.
The first stage beginning its flight.
Yo, look at that.
Being powered by that single Merlin 1D vacuum engine has
so these engines will come back and lend themselves.
And dug into orbit. So they're going to continue under the power of this second
Stage
stage.
2 propulsion is nominal.
Which will cut off at SECO, or second engine cut off at about 8 minutes and 44 seconds into today's flight. So a little over 5 minutes to go still on this second stage. You heard the call out to Alpha.
Joe, how you doing, bro?
Now in the longest abort zone that carries them all the way from about North Carolina up the eastern seaboard almost to Canada. Things looking good though, getting good call outs, nominal.
That's insane though if you think about it, that they can they'll be over the UK in like less than an hour after taking off. It's ridiculous. Good to hear you doing well, Joe. Yeah, man, I'm doing good. Hyped up for this. Hyped up for this. That is wicked, boys.
SpaceX Dragon nominal trajectory.
All right, here in nominal trajectory, so Dragon pointed in the right direction, continuing to make their flight uphill. Heard acquisition of signal.
See the ISS and the rocket at 10 p.m. tomorrow.
That they're using to get telemetry and
exactly
data back from this spacecraft.
Stage 2 propulsion is still nominal.
Things looking good. I want to see that. Yeah, I want to see the rocket land. Yeah, landing burn. There you go. So the rocket should come back down, and land itself on a pod. So I really want to see that. Kids, the Earth is not flat. 100% agree.
4 minutes 40 seconds into the flight. Bob and Doug flying at more than 5,600 miles per hour.
Dragon SpaceX nominal trajectory.
Already almost 200 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center. Nominal trajectory continuing.
It's just insane what like we as humans are capable of doing. That thing has literally just been ran by a whole computer system.
And while they continue uphill, looks like we are getting a view of the first stage as well.
Yep, on your right screen, you can see that first stage with the grid fins deployed. It's making its way back to attempt to land on our drone ship, of course.
A drone ship, that is so
We're just about a minute,
sick.
A couple minutes away from the entry burn.
Fuck, can we see these dons in space with my bicycle? It's so bad. You know it, man.
Down as it re-enters back into the Earth's
look how quick they're going.
And after the entry burn will be the landing burn.
My man, 11,000 kilometers.
SpaceX nominal trajectory.
And you heard
nominal
starting chill for entry burn.
There's that call out. They are still on a nominal trajectory on Dragon. Still on second stage, and that's that MVAC engine on second.
They're traveling currently at about 8,000 miles per hour. That is mental.
Again, on your right screen is that first stage booster coming back towards our drone ship. Of course, I still love you. We're about a minute away from entry burn.
I can't believe they've just called it a.
Meanwhile, that second stage continuing to power Dragon into orbit. Again, if you're keeping an eye on that timer, that's going to continue to burn until 8 minutes and 44 seconds into flight. So a little over 2 minutes now.
Speed of them and still going fast. It's ridiculous.
Stage 2 propulsion is still good.
You can imagine what this would have been like when they launched the Apollo. Yeah, man. The Apollo missions weren't obviously weren't the best.
Dragon SpaceX nominal trajectory.
Dragon copies nominal trajectory.
Yeah, they're going into the ISS, but these guys hit the image on the right is actually the first engine coming back into orbit. Well, it's going to land itself onto a drone port. How sick is that? So the people on the left, I think the guys on the left, I think they're the ones that are going. Yeah, there you go. Look, entry burn. Here we go.
Is that entry burn beginning?
So what it's doing, it's still getting pulled down by gravity back into the atmosphere. Well, not well. It's still in the atmosphere, but coming back to Earth basically, and basically throttling up so it doesn't get pulled down too hard. But this on the right hand side is the first booster engine coming back to land, which is ridiculous if you think about it, considering they just used to have all the launches and then they just chuck it off the side.
We'll be looking for that stage 1 landing burn shortly after.
Actually, just within a few seconds of each other.
Ridiculous.
Such a cool view on your left screen, seeing Bob and Doug on Dragon.
21,000.
Displays that they are seeing right now themselves.
Terminal guidance.
Well, that's insane. Look how fast they're gaining speed, because you look at that's just insane, boys. Look at that.
We are coming up 25 seconds or so away from SECO, or second engine cutoff.
This is also the point where Bob and Doug are experiencing their highest
Down,
G-force. We're seeing the counter tick up to right about 1.8.
Oh no, it's still there.
Shannon.
You heard Shannon, so that just means they're in their final abort zones. If they were to abort at this point, it would either be an abort to orbit or to land off the coast of Ireland. Standing by for second cutoff confirmation.
And back throttle step.
That's just sick. Look at that.
Confirmation of SECO's second engine cutoff.
Look at this. It's going to land on a flipping
boat.
boat.
Make its way to our drone ship. Of course, I still love you.
Dragon SpaceX nominal orbital insertion.
That's sick, isn't it? They call the boat, of course, I still love you.
Nominal orbital insertion.
And what you're seeing on your screen is a live view of our drone ship.
Hey.
Where our first stage will be coming
Of course,
down.
I still love you. Loss of signal. No.
Looks like we lost that live view, but we'll wait for confirmation of that landing shortly here.
Yo, look.
And there you can see on your screen, Falcon 9 has landed.
They landed the
This
flipping
is the
rocket.
First Falcon 9 to carry humans to orbit, so very exciting for us.
It landed right in the flipping thing. That's
as you can see
insane.
on your right screen, Bob and Doug are still making their way to their targeted orbit.
Yo, look, you can see on their map. You can see on their map. Look, the UK is over there. It's just literally there. They've been going for no more than, what, 10 minutes? And they're nearly in Ireland.
Again, that call out, good orbital insertion, so that means Falcon 9 and Dragon right now exactly where they're supposed to be.
And we need a FRC on recovery 1.
And it's right at about 12 minutes when
Look at the Dragon.
separate.
Look, they just chucked the
Like
Dragon
we
away.
saw a zero-G indicator floating around there. I know Bob and Doug owe us a little bit about what exactly that is that they brought up with them.
They took a Dragon into space. What time is it over UK? I'm not too sure. I got told like 20 past 9, but...
They do ensure that the vehicle is not spinning and it is in good condition before we separate.
That's right, the upper stage does small attitude maneuver using some cold gas thrusters built into the rocket body itself.
Exactly, so we do expect that separation to occur in about a minute from now, but
they're going to
they
just
do
separate
wait
again
until they have full confirmation that it is ready to separate. Such cool views. I cannot get over this view that we are seeing right now. Bob and Doug on the right screen, inside of Crew Dragon, out in space.
Yeah, already 200 kilometers over planet Earth, or a little over 124 miles, traveling in excess of
334 in New Jersey. That's
27,000
insane.
meters per second, or about 16,000 miles.
They're going to
per
deploy
hour.
it.
Again, we're just standing by. That separation event should be coming up shortly.
I think is that going to land as well?
Draco thrusters that are going to be used to maneuver and then power Dragon on its flight to the International Space Station. Standing by for separation.
Expected loss of signal, wallows.
It sounds like we had an expected LOS, loss of signal, with one of the ground stations. Waiting for confirmation now.
Dragon separation confirmed.
Dragon separation confirmed.
There is a great view right in front of you.
Oh my god, look how sick that is.
Separation
confirmed.
And there's that call out. Dragon is now officially making its way to the International Space Station today.
That's so sick.
Dragon SpaceX with that separation call. We have a few words for you from.
Yo, look, someone just flew off the side. Did anyone see that?
Standing by.
Dragon, Chief Engineer on Dragon to Ground. Bob Doug, on behalf of the entire launch team, thanks for flying with Falcon 9 today. We hope you enjoyed the ride and wish you a great mission.
Thanks, Bala. Congratulations to you and the F9 team for the first human ride for Falcon 9. And it was incredible. Appreciate all the hard work, and thanks for the great ride to space.
Copy all.
Bala and Mike, proud of you guys and the rest of the team. Thank you so much for what you've done for us today, putting America back into low Earth orbit from the Florida coast.
Copy all. Good luck. Godspeed.
It's just insane, boys. World's highest seagulls.
In Dragon SpaceX, we confirm nominal Eclipse activation and service section Draco checkouts.
Look at that touchscreen, mate. That is so sick. Did you see what the old space shuttle used to look like?
We're monitoring.
Looked like Concorde, but like on steroids.
Hawthorne giving the crew a heads up that we have confirmation the nose cone is deploying. So again, that nose cone is going to open up a little bit more than 90 degrees, goes up to about, I think, 105 degrees, and that's going to expose the actual docking ring and the hatch that they're going to be going through once they attach to the International Space Station. And also 4 of those Draco thrusters, we call them the forward bulkhead thrusters, that are going to be used for these major phase burns or firings of those.
What the hell is that thing sticking out?
Raise their orbit gradually over the coming hours.
Is that a seatbelt? Just like
also
floating.
heard good activation of the ECLIS. That's the Environmental Control and Life Support System. That's everything controlling their atmosphere. Just keeping Dragon a nice, safe, habitable environment.
I wonder if they could drift that bad boy.
For the next 19 hours until they arrive at the space
Imagine this was a way to our way to travel to another country.
Falcon
I
9's
wish.
job may be done for today, but the mission is not over.
Mate, I remember the old space shuttles.
Is not done.
Old
As
school
you can
like
see,
Amstrad
Bob and Doug
computers.
are still inside Crew Dragon,
They were
making
awful.
their way. It will be a 19-hour trip to the International Space Station before they dock tomorrow morning.
Well, look, they're just taking off their fins, pressurized.
And such cool views. I
That
love
is
that we
so
can have these live
sick.
views here and see and watch what they're doing now that they are in orbit.
Yeah, it's incredible to just be looking over their shoulder. To be along
See you later,
for the
Christian, bro.
ride.
See you later.
And we're going to be with them, and we're
It's
going to
just
be with
insane,
all of
man.
you the entire way for their journey to the space station. We're going to be covering live throughout. Bob and Doug will obviously have a sleep period where they'll get about 8 hours of sleep a little bit later today before they wake up for all of their final approach.
Imagine that,
One of
just
the
going,
major
oh yeah,
things
see
we're
that, boys, I'm
looking
going to go to
forward
sleep
The next
now.
couple of hours is going to be their first turn at the controls. So they're actually going to be using those touchscreen displays to take control and manually pilot Dragon. We'll walk you through what that's going
Brizzy
to look
Brothers,
like. And
thank you for
assuming
subscribing,
we have
bro.
some good ground station coverage, we'll be able to get views from right inside Dragon, looking over their shoulder as they manipulate the controls at the display. But I mean, we had a smooth ride uphill, both stages of the Falcon 9 doing their job, placing Bob and Doug into orbit. I mean, this is a day, this is a historical day. This is us kicking off that new era of space flight that we've all been talking about and longing for since the Space
Ridiculous,
Shuttle
man.
program came to an end in 2011.
Yes.
And the weather cooperated.
Yes. Second time's a charm.
Yay!
All right, so day for the history books. As you can see, we have lost some live signal there, but the mission still continues, and we're going to send it over to KSC to continue
KSC.
broadcasting live with
Expected
you.
loss of signal, Newfoundland.
Love it. They got MacBook Pros, but they just cover over.
Yeah, Jesse and Dan, we are just in awe over here. When I woke up this morning and looked at the weather forecast, I was like, man, we're going to be back here on Sunday, but we did it. The room cleared out. Everybody was outside watching, and inside the lights were shaking, the cameras were shaking. Lauren came back in with tears in her eyes. This is really amazing.
I can't believe it. I saw it with my own eyes.
People look like programmers in the control center.
I'm a little bit speechless. Just so grateful that we got them up there, and there's a lot more to go. But I'm so happy they're safe right now. I'm just so happy.
Yeah. Leland, you were talking about it. It's amazing what we can do when we work together.
Yes, American astronauts on an American rocket from American soil, showing you what Americans can do when we come together as a team and blast Doug and Bob off to the cosmos. This is what it's all about, and their families and everyone is working together to take them up to space safely. So I don't know what to say. That rocket fuel is still in my veins, and I want to go get on the rocket.
Well, it's too late now. Maybe the next one.
I know.
But we want to go over to Daryl at OSB2. He's there with the administrator, who hopefully has more words than we do, because we're still kind of speechless. Daryl?
Incredible here, Marie, at the Operations Support Building, where a chorus of applause has been happening from the beginning of launch and throughout the various stages. Some very special guests were here to watch it. That includes President Donald Trump, Vice President Mike Pence, and NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine, who joins me now. And you were with the President and the Vice President. America's back, launching human astronauts again. Woo! Tell me how you feel about that, and tell me about the President watching launch and what happened there.
So this has been a long time coming. It's been 9 years since we've launched American astronauts on American rockets from American soil, and now it's done. We have done it. It's been way too long. I want to give a lot of credit to Charlie Bolden. He was my predecessor as the NASA administrator. He fought hard for this program at a time when it didn't get any support in Congress. We now have an administration that is fully supportive of our space flight initiatives, not just on the exploration, discovery, going to the moon, onto Mars, but also from a Space Force perspective. Our budgets are going up, things are strong, and today was just it was just an amazing day. You know, one of the things the President did right out of the gate when he became President is he created what's called the National Space Council.
He's a man,
and he put the Vice President as chairman of the National Space Council. And on that National Space Council, you've got the Secretary of Defense and the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Commerce, the Secretary of Transportation, the Secretary of Education.
Have a good day, mate. No worries, bro. Catch you later.
Chairman of the Joint
You
Chiefs.
too.
All of these different amazing individuals that deal with space day in and day out. A lot of people don't realize how many parts of the federal government deal with space. And the Vice President invited those members of the National Space Council here as well. So we just had, and then we had members of Congress, bipartisan members of Congress, Republicans and Democrats, who have been involved in supporting this program.
Where's all their protective gear?
You know, for a long time now. So I'll just tell you, I'm breathing a sigh of relief. But I will also tell you, I am not going to celebrate until Bob and Doug are home safely. Tomorrow, they're going to dock to the International Space Station. Tonight, I'm heading to Houston to be at the Johnson Space Center when that happens. So it's a bit of a relief. The nose cone is now open. It's now deployed, which means that
they must have been
now we're going to go into some burns. We're going to have some phasing burns. We're going to have some boosting burns, and we're going to get as much as we can in alignment with the International Space Station as early as possible here. But also, I know it's hard, but the big thing that we need to do now is we got to get Bob and Doug, who have now gone through this exercise twice. They need to get some rest. But I can guarantee you there will be no rest for a good amount of time while they're up there in orbit.
And they are certainly on their way, and a lot of people joining us for this entire celebration.
I watched that as well. It's a good film, very, very good film.
Watching live as this launch happened, and President Donald Trump becoming the third sitting president to watch a launch live from the Kennedy Space Center. The first.
To be clear, I think he's the only sitting president to watch American astronauts launch on a brand new rocket that has never launched before, and that's a big risk. He also said we're going to go to the moon by 2024. That means he's putting himself at risk to say, look, I'm going to be accountable potentially, I'm going to be accountable to the initiatives that I put forward. And I think we have not had that kind of leadership for space in a very, very long time. And we're so grateful for it.
What was it like watching the launch with the president? How did he react?
Oh, I will tell you, it's obviously something that is near and dear to him. He said it a year and a half ago. He put it in the State of the Union speech. He said, we're going to launch American astronauts on American rockets from American soil. And of course, I was like, in my head, I'm thinking, we better get after this. Of course, we've worked overtime to make it happen. We might be a little behind schedule, but we got it done, and we got it done safely. We're knocking on wood, but so far so good. It's looking good.
You personally, Jim, as that rocket was lifting off and you felt that rumble,
yeah,
what'd you feel? What'd you experience?
Well, I was praying. I'm not going to lie to you. I was praying. I was praying for Bob and Doug. I was praying for their families. I was praying for their safe return, even though they're just going. But man, I'll tell you, it was, I've heard that rumble before, but it's a whole different feeling when you've got your own team on that rocket. And they are our team. They are America's team. This is Launch America. This is everything that America has to offer in its purest form.
Fair
and
enough.
Times are tough right now. There is no doubt. We've got the coronavirus pandemic. We have other challenges as a country. But I hope this moment in time is an opportunity for everybody to reflect on humanity and what we can do when we work together, when we strive, and when we achieve. And if this can inspire a young child to become the next Elon Musk or the next Jeff Bezos or the next Sir Richard Branson, then that's what this is all about.
Or the next Jim Bridenstine.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't put me in that category, but.
Well, we appreciate your leadership for the Space Agency at this time, and congratulations on an amazing day in the launch.
Thank you. It's been a great ride.
All right, very good. Marie, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
Doug and Bob are on course to arrive at the International Space Station tomorrow, May 31st at 10:27 a.m. Eastern Time. And we'll be staying on the air for continuous live coverage along the entire ride to the station. So though our coverage here is concluding, we will turn it over to the teams in Hawthorne and Houston to take us through the next phases of the Demo-2 mission, all the way through hatch opening and a welcome ceremony on the space station for Bob and Doug tomorrow.
That's right. And as you follow along, we invite you to tune into a post-launch news conference that's happening here at 6:30 this evening Eastern Time on NASA TV. We'll have NASA and SpaceX leaders here to take questions live on this unprecedented achievement in human spaceflight. And in addition to NASA TV, you can follow along always on Twitter at @NASA and nasa.gov for mission updates as it progresses. Here now are highlights from the mission so far. May 30th, 2020, remember this day. You'll have this memory forever, the day America returned astronauts to orbit from U.S. soil.
Oh boy, look at the big rocket. That is a sick
we're
look.
making history again.
Let's go.
Of course, they're in Teslas. Look at their spacesuits, bro.
3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff of the Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon. Go NASA. Go SpaceX. Godspeed, Bob and Doug.
America has launched. So rises a new era of American spaceflight, and with it the ambitions of a new generation continuing the dream.
It's insane. I've been there. Cool. Right, anyway, boys, I hope you've enjoyed. I am going to call that a day. I'm going to go and chill for a little while after we had a nice time watching this for a good old little while. So, yeah, I guess I should probably live stream again sometime with you boys and play some flight sims. So maybe tomorrow we'll do a flight or something. So, let me see. Anyway, boys, I will catch up with you later. Catch you in a bit. Peace.